Hello, hello. Okay, some time has passed, and I have been expanding my burrow into something of a cottage, and it's pretty nice. I'm happy with it. I've had visitors. I don't have visitors anymore. Well, occasionally they come by. Anyway, so I have created some sort of mix between a cottage and a hall. So it's pretty much 2 floors, except I'm not using the upper floor. What would you call it? The attic. Because it doesn't have much of a floor. I have, however, taken advantage of the mod platforms that I added to the pack and created these railings. It's mostly in the interest of immersion, of visual design. So in order to make it easier and safer to climb up and down, I have added these railings up here very sparsely. I mean, it's mostly with the thought that if you step out, if you step up on something, or you step out, so you don't go too far, so you don't walk, stumble all the way across the limb, the beam, and fall down. But when you're walking along the log, the beam, there is no real threat of me sort of stumbling down to the sides, so no railing here. Same thing here. The only times I sort of step with some sort of force and need some kind of balance is either when I'm stepping up, and this railing prevents me from falling down. And then I have this protected railing, which is less of a problem, but it actually makes it somewhat easier to climb down, because when I move in here, I cannot move off the ladder. I cannot sort of up. So I'm sure I will stick to the ladder. It would, on the other hand, perhaps to make the ladder all the way down. Like now, I have to take a slight jump to to get up. I have taken advantage of builders' crafts and additions to make nicer storage. Also, Minecraft has barrels nowadays. Oh well. They're a bit rectangular. I'm actually not one of those who thinks everything has to be rectangular, everything has to be so 6-sided or angled, 90 degrees angles in Minecraft. I like when there are different shapes, so I would like to see that in the future. But for now, we have barrels that are more of crates. Oh, jump cut! Yes. Some days later. So, rest of the house. Simple lighting, lanterns from Minecraft. I have a couple of bookshelves starting to fill up with literature. Not all kinds of books will fit in here, so you cannot really put anything else than books here. However, I found that Integrated Dynamics guidebook does not work, or at least it didn't work. No, still doesn't work. And the holosphere from Tetra doesn't work either. which surprised me less. But I wouldn't be completely surprised if it was somehow categorized as a book, because it is a kind of guide item. Not very rich yet, but I have a nice and cozy place. I have been out looking for astro sorcery temples or study places. And I managed to create a couple of luminous crafting tables, not really starting with astro sorcery yet. I'm kind of divided between astro sorcery, starting astro sorcery, continuing on Botania, or starting to explore nature's aura. But onwards. She's. And I have pets. Cute ones. Yeah, just so cute. And one is living underneath here. He's a bit more cuddly than everyone else. Also, on one of my excursions, I found a cat. So I fed it and I brought it home. Actually, in the opposite order, but anyway, it looked starved. So I rescued it from a pit from which it couldn't escape, and now it has its own little pad to sit on. These pads are from EmbellishCrafts and Editions, so these are not part of neither standard Minecraft nor Direwolf 20's pack. I want to add. Kitchen is starting to take form. It's not fully capable yet. I think these do connect to each other. I don't know if the kitchen, the multi-block kitchen, actually see the fruit basket. So would probably be easy enough just switch places of the chest and the table, I'm guessing. But I am still missing the multi-block crafting table, which would allow me to create things directly from these inventories, these cupboards and boxes and baskets and shelves. And I think that utilizes the oven automatically. And if I don't misremember, could there be a fridge? Yes, there's a fridge. Yes, part of the multi-block kitchen. Cook for blockheads. And I don't have a fridge yet. So, it's slowly expanding, and that is absolutely according to plan. My chimney has moved into the wall, and I'm kind of missing up there. It's actually supposed to continue up behind the wooden beam, or possibly break off the wooden beam here. So it would be one beam continuing in that direction and another beam continuing left. So that direction is usually called right. Yeah. I have a couple of resource caves. They're actually not very extensive. I spent most of the time digging upwards and inwards in the hill. So I very nearly came out on the other side. Had me and Direwolf been building in the same world, we would probably have met each other somewhere halfway. But finally I did make something of a mine. And I've not been digging around particularly much. Very, very sort of goal with a target-oriented. What do I need now? I've created a couple of what should I call it? Farms? Yeah. farms for brown and red mushrooms. These took some time to find, and I found my brown mushrooms down... What? Oh yeah. So this is where we start. This is where I found the one brown mushroom. Extended Caves has a type of brown mushrooms, but they do not categorize as the same item. So that was kind of unfortunate. Was it sweet mushrooms? I think that's called sweet shrooms. So this you can cook and eat as they are. It's turned into cooked sweet shrooms. Pretty good food, but they do not count as brown mushrooms or mushrooms for the purpose of spells in Botania, which is, I don't know if that's intentional or if it's just a case of the pack is still being developed. But I did not find any red mushrooms anywhere. I had been searching fairly far and wide out like this, and I found one brown mushroom and no red mushrooms. It wasn't until I had a sort of scouting tour running northwards that I stumbled onto a citadel, or a tower, if you wish, and I found that it had a sort of dwelling in the cellar, and the cellar was pretty extensive. Also, it was very dangerous, so hence the note here, explore dungeon, because I didn't move very far in. But I did find a couple of red mushrooms in this little dwelling in the cellar. So that was great. Finally, I've been searching far and wide, and the same thing, carrots. I still haven't found any beetroots, but the first carrots I found was up here too. Possibly in what I refer to the abandoned Banner Weaver's house. It's not a name on the place anywhere that I'm aware of. I just decided to call it that from what I found, what it looked like and what I found. So, and here's another tower, and I have somewhere around these dots there is a third tower, or rather a first tower in the order I found them. And I didn't bring any torches, so I couldn't explore the cellar. I was looking for something else when I found it, though, so not very strange. I don't bring everything everywhere. Whoop. Yeah. Wrong button. So. No? There! So, finally, brown and red mushrooms. These two mines, this one stopped right in the hill. So, if you walk from the start side, you walk from the spawn point, world spawn, and you walk straight east. So, Direwolf settled on that side of this hill, but if you walk over the hill and down on the other side to the pond, this is the way you would go over here. So I expanded very, very little in this direction. I've mostly been digging for some special types of rock that I wanted, and occasionally stumbling over some metals. but I have not really hunted for metals, which is starting to become... I'm starting to feel the effects of that now. What else? What else? Oh yeah, design choices. Design choices. I mentioned these railings, these handrails, which are mostly for the immersion feeling and trying to create something that looks like it would be here for a good reason in reality. Same thing with these roof trusses that helps holding up the roof, and this beam acts as a sort of main carrying place, so the roof trusses are carrying this beam, and the top of the roof rests on the beam and then sort of hangs out on the sides, resting on the roof trusses. And then they end in eaves. Oh yeah, this is my... well, that button is really only there because I didn't know where to put it and I needed to empty my pockets. But actually, it serves a kind of a purpose. If there's something out here, I built this little lookout because sometimes I had very, very hostile visitors out here, and if I went outside, I were very exposed to them. So I decided to make this little lookout place from where I can shoot bow and arrows. Well, I don't shoot the... oh, well, you know. This is just the door and a hatch. The hatch is to make this a 1-block high place, so very few things could possibly follow me in if I decide to retreat. Because believe me when I say some things can really hurt you. However, if I want to get out of here, all I have to do is open this trapdoor, and then I can leap out. Hop. So I'm not an architect. I'm not a building engineer in real life. So I mostly just imagine how you would have to think. So it's mostly is aesthetics, and to some degree an attempt at engineering. So if you look at this and you feel that, oh, you know, this is trash, you can't build like that, you're actually very welcome to tell me, because I like to learn these things. Just because I don't have an education in it doesn't mean that I'm not interested. It's just that my life has taken me on other routes. So you are warmly welcome to tell me about technical details about buildings and historical looks on things. If you look at my videos and think that, oh no, this seems impractical considering how you live or what you're trying to go for or something, and we can always have a discussion from which I can learn. This is more of a technical thing. I have been farming... I've been farming feathers. Now, in some past era, there seemed to have been a mod that I had that made the birds drop feathers occasionally, since they sort of shed feathers. This might be Quark, but I'm not sure. I'm mentioning it because if you want to look for it, you could start there at least. But this was not the case here. So the only way of getting feathers was to actually kill birds. However, to get new birds, I have to run all the way around and mate the birds with each other, and yeah, that's fine. But it's also very time consuming, and I felt it didn't serve any purpose for this playthrough. So I simply occasionally take eggs, throw them through against the wall until I get a good handful of birds, and then they will drop eggs. And the hoppers will take the eggs. In inner hopper brings its goods to the outer hopper, which brings it further to the chest. And here a lot of eggs end up. And when it comes time to slaughter, most of the stuff ends up in here as well. It's not supposed to stay here though. So this is just what it looks like now. That's my dwelling. That's my dwelling. Improved storage, improved furnacing, improved smelting and burning, and outside an improved garden. Now with trader llamas that I managed to pick up and breed. I have started to store the really smelly stuff outside. I thought that next to the compost this probably won't be as noticeable. I'm having second thoughts about that. Actually, I think this barrel belongs somewhere, perhaps out on the edge somewhere of this yard, because I suspect it smells terribly to walk past here every day. This is a fairly warm climate. We have desert just behind the hills, and there is mostly desert and savanna around here. I mean, even these short grass areas are broken up as continued by a desert further away, further west. So it's probably a very hot area. Not necessarily very, what do you call it? Very wet area with a lot of rain or moisture or anything. So that's how I'm thinking when I'm building things here. Very tiny garden. The industrial hemp grows like weed, and I have a bunch of things that are sort of varying diet. Also, if there are sound effects that you don't recognize from the mod pack, this is because I have dynamic surroundings installed. I mentioned it in the first episode. So, a goal of the first episode was to finally get some sort of creative crafting going, and I decided to go for Botania, and I have built this sort of glen, I think it's called in English. So an opening surrounded by trees. It's not in a forest, but still. It's sort of a Botania shrine. And it has the most simple necessities, and the petal apothecary, which I mentioned as my bird bath in the beginning. This tiny ditch of water. It would be going all the way around if I could, but right now, no. Right now it's just tiny pools of water. But intentionally, this is 3 blocks wide in order for me to be able to grab the middle water source, and the sources on the sides will replace it. So I have an infinite water source. simple setup for getting mana, a bunch of Ender Flames, and they are doing a very, very good service. In fact, I made more than I needed. In order to not have to sort of watch them all the time and be the one to just always drop things manually, I set this up, Botania open crate with a hopper, and then I fill the hopper with a bunch of burnable stuff, and yes, cow. Yes. And then, whoop, do I have... Well, I could probably do like this, yes. Whoop. I have a Sojourner's Sash. So, with a mana source, I can jump and run. Up here I have a Botania hovering hourglass with short string of redstone dust, because this seemed to be necessary for my setup. I guess this is a standard Minecraft thing, but I follow this up with a redstone torch, and the redstone torch locks the hopper. So the hopper is by default not capable of dropping anything. The hourglass, however, is set to rotate every second, and when it does, it will send a very short signal. Just as it turns, you see, it just sends a short signal, and this turns off the redstone torch, and this allows the hopper to drop one thing, because that's all it has time to drop. And then the redstone torch is on again. So, jump cut again, as something in my video software didn't want to cooperate. Anyway, where from here, where do I go now? I would like to be able to dump my experience somewhere to store it. And it seems like my closest possibility is making an experience pylon from Cyclic. The experience pylon requires quartz, nether quartz, and I think I have figured out a way to actually get nether quartz without going to the nether. It's a bit of a roundabout way, and it dictates where I go now. It seems to be possible to create nether quartz through going through nature's aura and onto Botania, and then Botania can possibly make nether quartz for me. Another possibility is, of course, the more basic one, to create an obsidian portal. I don't have a good site for the obsidian portal. I don't mind the sound so much, but I do mind what it looks like. If it had been more of an elven gateway from Botania, it would fit pretty well in right here, right now, except it would probably be hard to fit inside my Botania shrine. So I would probably want to build something more, but that's not what the nether portal looks like. The nether portal is very, very fittingly quite a sort of gate of doom. And so I'm thinking that it fits pretty well together with blood magic. And I haven't started on blood magic yet. It's a fun mod. I am looking forward to doing that. So if I want to just create another portal, I'm going to find a good site for blood magic. I'm going to create a special building for it, and then I can get my nether portal and go to to Nether. I don't feel like just you know, nailing up another portal to the house and go get the quartz and you just sort of, yeah, okay, now I got it, bam, and then tear down another portal. I am trying to figure out ways to do this without taking those shortcuts, because it's part about exploring the mod packs, the mods in the mod pack. If I were thinking of going, my initial plan was to go on with Astro Sorcery, but if I want my nether quartz, I don't see me getting that through Astro Sorcery right now, if it even is possible. And I'm guessing it would be quite a way to go in that case. So I will probably, I lean towards going to start exploring Nature's Aura, because it's very close theme-wise to Botania, which makes it easier to fit it in with this place that I already have. And then with Nature's Aura, I can create Netherwart. And using that, I can create a Botania setup that allows me to convert netherrack into nether quartz ore. And I have a bunch of netherrack because that can be found in this mod pack here and there. Yes. So, next time, back with what will probably be something of a small site for Nature's Aura, and possibly the beginning of a blood magic site. We will see. We will see what, or the other way around. We will see what path I take. That depends a bit on how the terrain looks and what I find suitable and what I find inspiration for. So, with that, goodbye.